And good Tuesday evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us here on Valley News Live at 6 o'clock. There's our Grand Forks Home of Economy Skycam. Seeing the wind whipping up there, south wind. That's bringing some humidity and some warmer air into the region here this evening. So we are seeing those 80s for quite a few of us, and even 90s south with some sticky, humid air here this evening. So here's the current air temperature in Fargo at the airport. 82 degrees, but it feels like 87. Of course, when you factor in that dew point there of 72 degrees, that's a very tropical air mass. So take a look, of course, when that air temperature and dew point are closer together, the air is more saturated or more humid in some cases, like this case where you have that relative humidity of 71%. So flat out sticky out there in Fargo for this evening. In Grand Forks, same story, 71% relative humidity and also 82 degrees, that current air temperature there. South wind you can see in Grand Forks at 16 miles per hour, which was waving those flags there at the Grand Forks Home of Economy location. Seeing those 80s for Devil's Lake, upper 80s in Jamestown, 90 in Oaks. Then that's seeing those 80s working into the, say, Highway 10 corridor in Minnesota as well. Staying coolest off toward Bemidji. Did have a storm move through this area earlier, which probably took some of that heat and humidity out of the air, at least in that portion of Minnesota briefly, but you can see starting to creep its way back in from the south. And that area up toward the north in northern Minnesota also could see some storms moving in from Manitoba here later on tonight. But look at this, heat index values. When you factor in that heat with the humidity, we get those heat index values up over 100 degrees in Oaks, Sisseton 102 degrees, the feels like temperature. But most of us feeling like 80s and 90s. Well, Fergus Falls feels like 98 degrees, so no picnic out there when you factor in that humidity, especially south of Highway 10 and I-94 at this point. Satellite radar shows those clouds wafting through. This is showing some green there on the radar imagery, but haven't seen too many reports of any rain showers. But I wouldn't be totally surprised to hear some raindrops falling from these clouds with just how much moisture we have in the air at this point. You can see one of those storms that moved through northern Minnesota right there, moving through Cook, Minnesota. That's well off toward our east. But of course, now our attention turns to this low pressure moving out of Saskatchewan, Saskatoon. They're seeing the worst of it right now. This has its eyes set on Winnipeg. And that's where we do have some Canadian severe thunderstorm watches. And that red box you see there from Winnipeg north toward Gimli is all a tornado watch there up in Canada. So they're going to get the brunt of this system closer to the center of the low pressure. But our northern counties, are in the slight risk of severe weather, as some of these storms could move in from Manitoba and bring some impacts to northern Minnesota. Notice Fargo, just a general thunderstorm possible here. So I think this will stay mainly along and north of Highway 2 as we progress through this Tuesday evening. The risks from these storms, large hail up to perhaps 2 inches in diameter. High winds could be gusting as high as 70 miles per hour. So those are the two things we're watching closest with this. A low tornado risk, a low flooding risk, but of course with severe storms never can totally rule it out, especially if you get further north into northern Minnesota. But again, a very low tornado risk tonight. Here's the hour by hour. We see, of course, those clouds and some of those greens showing up there, which indicate perhaps a few spotty showers under those clouds. But it's not till about after 8 o'clock. We're watching for those storms to develop there in northern Minnesota, moving out of Manitoba. So that's where we could see those severe storms. Looks like these skirt right along the international border there. So this is 9:30 tonight. Again, it's that area in northern Minnesota that probably has the best chance of seeing those more organized storms if those can move in from Manitoba. The rest of us just see some clouds hanging on, maybe a few showers in the Southern Valley there through the 10:30 hour tonight. By 11:30, I expect that threat to be gone out toward the east and things quieting down. May see some redevelopment moving out of South Dakota, but I think that will miss us off toward the south and east tonight. Good news is north wind comes in after the system. 50s and 60s tomorrow morning, and then, boy, it's going to be nice and cool tomorrow. By lunchtime, 60s and 70s. And 70s to maybe 80s is all we're expecting for high temperatures tomorrow. High pressure moves in, things are quiet for us. We'll be breezy though with a northwest wind. Now we're back into the oven for Thursday, Friday, 90s both days. Humidity ticks up a bit as well, so Stacy could see some more storms on Friday, but just in time for the weekend. Boy, 70s for those highs this weekend.
The oven is right. Holy
yes,
moly.
It's a convection oven with the broil setting on.
All right, thanks. Well, coming up next on Valley News Live at 6, we take a dive into the world of scuba with a local family you've got to meet.